Good afternoon. I call the optional review of Knox County Commission into order, 3 o'clock, December 8th, 2025. Madam Clerk, if you'll call the roll.
Commissioner Rawls.
Present.
Commissioner Durrett. Here. Commissioner Oster.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson. Here. Commissioner Russell. Here. Commissioner Hill. Here. Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Fox. Here. Commissioner Jay. Commissioner Frazier.
Present.
Thank you. Just to remind everybody, this is not a voting meeting. It is for information only. And so before we get into any agenda for Monday, I would like to start with the ethics so they don't have to wait around. So we will start in the order that your papers came in from Drew, gave you the packet. And we will start with Mr. Anders. Is that 5 minutes? Yes, and you've got 5 minutes to address commission. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you again for this opportunity. I've lived in Knox County for the majority of my life, specifically the 8th District. I've had many years of volunteer work with the rescue squad and was able to serve all over Knox County and surrounding counties in various emergencies and things like that. And I've really enjoyed the opportunity to serve others, to help others, and to make the county better in that way. And if you all see fit, I seek to do the same thing on the Ethics Committee, to serve the county. I've been fortunate to work in the medical field alongside many medical professionals who seek to do the right thing no matter what for the patient. And in those situations, whether it's 2 o'clock in the morning and it's an inconvenient time situation, none of that matters. We do the right thing. We do what's best for the patient. And I take that mentality into everything I do. I want to do the right thing no matter what the situation is, doesn't matter who's involved. I want to do the right thing. And if you all see fit, I humbly ask for your support for the Ethics Committee.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All right. Next applicant is Jimmy Carter.
Madam Chair, are we going to be able to ask questions, or are we going to?
You want to do questions individually or like we did them just a few minutes ago?
Probably individually, if we could, since there are so many.
Okay. Mr. Anders, do you want to come back up?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And we'll open the floor up for questions. Commissioner Durrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Anders, thank you for applying. Appreciate you being here today. A big portion of ethics is transparency and maintaining public trust. So how would you maintain confidentiality while also promoting transparency and public trust?
Confidentiality, obviously, keeping everything that's for the committee in the committee. One thing I appreciate is the Sunshine Law, where everything that's talked about is for public viewing. So everything that's in the committee obviously is for the public. Everything outside of that, in my opinion, is off limits. Just keeping everything above board is the main thing.
All right, thank you. And then one other question. How would you ensure fairness and neutrality when receiving a complaint involving individuals you may know professionally or personally?
Again, just following the rules. And like I said, with patients, it doesn't matter who they are, who they voted for, or who they're related to. We take care of the issue in that moment for the best of the person. So in a situation with the Ethics Committee, whether I know them or not, or whether I agree with them or not on anything, it doesn't matter. Whatever the rules state, we follow the rules and see where it goes.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hi, Mr. Anders. Thanks for being here with us. Just a quick question, and I will be asking all of the applicants the same question. What guiding principles shape your decisions in complex or sensitive situations?
Well, my personal faith directs everything that I do. I seek to do what's right. I seek wisdom from those around me that I trust in making decisions. That's where just doing the right thing comes from, is seeking God, seeking His wisdom, and trying to do the right thing. Again, it's not my opinion or my thoughts or whatever, it's whatever the right thing is.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So I'm the last, I guess. What are your expectations from this board, and what do you feel like you bring to it? And I'll be asking everybody that same question.
Well, the expectations, I think, would be just whatever ethics violation or issue comes up to the committee is just holding people accountable, doing the right thing. He said, what do I expect from the,
Expect from the board, and what do you feel like you bring to it?
that's what I expect is just the fairness of everything. And I think just my history of working in situations where it doesn't matter the situation, just wanting to find the answer, the right answer, and do the right thing. And really, personal opinions really doesn't matter. Just seeking to do what's right in the situation.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
All righty.
All
Thank you.
right.
Thanks.
Next applicant is Mr. Jimmy Carter. Mr. Carter, you have got 5 minutes to address commission.
Thank you very much, Commissioner, Chairman. Just good afternoon. No, the name is not fake. The name is real. There's no relation to the real or more famous Jimmy Carter. It's really great to be with you today to talk about serving on the Knox County Ethics Committee. When I think about why I'm here, it really comes down to one thing. Knox County is my home. My family, some part of my family has been a part of Knox County, really the Carnes community since right around 1943, 1944. So that's three generations of Carter kids riding bikes down streets, going to the schools, participating in the community here. It's where I'm raising my current children right now. I have 2 kids at Grace Christian Academy who live in the Carnes community still. Still have my parents' farm. I've lost both of them, but I still have a 15-acre farm in Carnes. And so I believe that as a community member, we need to make this a better place. And I think in helping out our neighbors, and I think serving is one of the ways that we can do that. I've been involved in the community. I serve currently on the Carnes Fire Department Board, and I've been involved with this organization in some capacity since around 1993. I guess I can't shake the emergency services bug, even though that's not what my career is right now. Just this past month, I finished up my full-time term limits on the board of Horsehaven. That's a rescue and rehabilitation organization for abused and neglected and abandoned equine in our state. I would love to continue serving, but I have to take a year off doing that's part of the bylaws that they have. I'm also on the advisory board with Child Help of Tennessee, who protects the children of our community. And I've even served on my HOA board. I don't broadcast that a lot. Sometimes those can get pretty rough if those of you who have served those before. So why do I want to add one more thing to my plate? Well, it's simple. I love Knox County. I love that my parents were here. I love my grandparents were here. My kids are here. I love to meet people in the community that knew my grandparents and still talk about things that they did or things that they knew about them, along with my parents as well. You have my work history and my education in front of you. I am an attorney and a partner here in town. And I believe with my emergency medical services background, I had to make split-second decisions. We have to make split-second decisions in law now as well. But we have to keep those honest, look at the full picture of everything, and keep everything inside. An attorney-client privilege is one of the most important things that we hold in our career, and the medical or healthcare rules, everybody knows that you can get in trouble with those as well if you don't hold that confidential nature with you. I'm not here to build a resume or use it as a stepping stone. I'm here to serve on the ethics committee. I saw the opening come up. I've never applied for that and thought this would be a wonderful chance for me to be able to serve in a very small role, but a very important role for Knox County. Thank you so much for listening. I'm welcome to answer any questions that any of y'all have.
Thank you. Commissioner Drett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Carter, thank you again for applying. So my first question, I know you kind of mentioned this with your confidentiality piece. How would you maintain confidentiality while also promoting transparency and public trust?
Well, I think you maintain the confidentiality of things just because you're required to. So you're just doing what's right. And then if whatever the bylaws or the rules of the Ethics Committee itself, whatever is allowed to be shared or allowed to be in an open public forum, then you allow those things. But also to keep your conversations within the committee itself, whether they're public or not, and not to talk about those things outside of even that public forum itself, but to keep them keep them in-house per se.
Okay, and my next question, how would you ensure fairness and neutrality when receiving a complaint involving individuals you may know personally or professionally?
Well, if I have an obligation to recuse myself, if that's an option, then of course I would want to do that. If that's something that I don't feel I have to or is not necessary at the time, then I just try to keep it as that person or that situation that's in front of me. I don't know anything about them except for the facts that I'm facing at that time. So I just want to review those. It's the same thing with a law case. You may hear a story about a case and think you're going down a certain path, but as more facts come in and you evaluate those facts, then that gives you a chance to come up with the truth, you hope, and be able to reach the best decision for you at that time.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, thank you for your willingness to serve. And same question for me. What guiding principles shape your decisions in complex or sensitive situations?
Well, I hate to be able to go second and hear Mr. Andrews' responses, but it's my faith and it's prayer. And I know Mr. Andrews outside as well. I think he would be a very good choice. I just want to throw that out there. I've known him for a few years. But it is my faith. Like I said, I attend Grace Baptist Church, and I hold my faith to be very important, but I also need to look at all the facts that are before me and be in thoughtful prayer about those in combination with the facts that are in front of me, not to let false stories or people's opinion get involved. Instead, just listen to the facts and come up with the best decision that I can.
Thank you.
Thank you. And my same question, what are your expectations from this board, and what do you feel like you bring to it?
I think I bring a lifelong career, an experience of having people's lives be in my hands in a way, whether it was in the emergency medical field, in various states, here, my law practice itself. Those are some important decisions. Either their lives are in front of you or what's going to happen in their life is in front of you. So I think that's what I bring, and the ability to make those decisions in real time and make the best decision possible for what I have in front of me. But what expectations would be just for members of the committee that are on it with me to be truthful, to be transparent, and to make the best decision possible based on the rules and the knowledge and facts we have in front of us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you very much.
Are we supposed to stay, or what is
If you want to
best?
stay just when we're done with this, and then I'll just let you all know about next week.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next one is Mr. Lakins. Mr. Cook and Mr. Adeline could not be here today.
Thank you, County Commissioners. I do appreciate your allowing me to speak today. I'm Tommy Lakins, James T., as you'll see from my resume. I've lived in Knox County and been a resident here for my entire life, graduating from Fulton High School, University of Tennessee. I've worked in the businesses around Knoxville in IT management for my entire career as well. With that, I have had a lot of experience with ethics, as my senior management position has allowed me that opportunity. That's why I have stepped forward here to volunteer my services and to try to make more transparency. As we all know, our county government, our city government is always looking for respectability, and we've lost some of that. I'm hoping, as an expectation of the committee, that we are able to improve that situation over the next few years. It's not going to be an overnight effort that's going to make it occur. I will say that I will be totally fair, impartial, basing everything on the facts of what's occurred and what's brought forth to the committee. Once again, many things are not ethics pieces that are brought to this committee, from my understanding. Sometimes it's other pieces, which is not something that we're adjusted or being allowed to look at. My guiding principles are, and I'll say this, that as I have been in your seats before running for office, there's never a wrong time to do the right thing. Never. That guiding principle comes from how you were raised. It comes from what you experienced in your past. My 67 years of living, I've experienced a lot of things. I volunteer that experience to this committee. I ask for your support. I think as I look around the room, I think I know at least 7 or 8 of you personally. My past is an open book. Transparency is one of the things that I think that it makes me separate from everyone else. I'm an open book. If you want to know anything about it, I'll tell you that. But things that are confidential, that do not go outside of that meeting, will not be allowed out of that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Durrett?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, it appears Mr. Lakins has already answered my question, so I will not ask them this time. Thank you.
Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Same, just wanted to state for the record, you did answer the question during your presentation to us, so thank you for that.
My question, what are the expectations from this board and what do you feel like you bring to it? You've kind of gone through that, but do you have any expectations from the board?
I don't think the board owes me any expectation. I would like to make certain that everything's brought to each member equally, timely. I don't want us to be, some member not having the information and be at a meeting and not be prepared. I have recently, in the last 7 months, retired from the U.S. Bank, and that has given me the time and the opportunity for my dedication to this committee.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Next applicant is Mr. Greg Mangan.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Thanks for coming, and thanks for letting me come and speak before all of you. I am Greg Mangan, obviously. Lived in Knoxville on and off since 1986. My background coming to Knoxville was in hotels and country club management. A lot of ethical decisions are going on in hotel and country club management. So I think I started learning that at a very, very early age. My dad was a hotel fella, and I followed his footsteps into that arena. And we stayed in Knoxville until the mid-90s. I was at Cherokee Country Club and then had the opportunity to go to another club as the general manager. And so I went to general manager and general manager positions. And we came back to Knoxville 19 years ago. And a headhunter contacted me and said, "We know you've always wanted to get back. There's an opening." So I came and took over Fox Den Country Club. And it wasn't a match made in heaven. We knew we weren't going to be together forever. And 1 year later, it led me to read an article in an automobile magazine about the state of driver education and licensing in this country. In 4 hours, I made the decision to abandon club management and open a driving school. We now teach about 1,500 students a year, and ethics come up then when we have students that have different challenges of some kind, that we have to work out the best way to do that. We work with their parents. Sometimes DCS is involved. And I've spent a lot of time trying to make the right decision, give it great thought. And I think I'll mention ethics, and I said this 8 years ago when I applied for the ethics committee. I said, well, it sort of comes down to what would a reasonable person think? Is it right or is it wrong? Would you be willing to defend your decision to your pastor? Would you be willing to defend your decision to your grandmother if grandma were there? And I think that guides people into making the right ethical decisions. I have a lovely wife. We're celebrating our 37th anniversary in 2 weeks, and we're going to have a great time. And I'm an avid snow skier, if that matters to anyone. I ski about 15 days a year and still go very fast. I don't go fast driving anymore because of owning a driving school and teaching driving and preaching safe driving every day. But I still get to go fast on my skis, and I would really like your consideration for a position on the Ethics Committee. I think I could be productive and helpful.
Thank you. Commissioner Durrett?
Thank you, Madam Chair. you did mention, to an extent, if you ran across something coming, a complaint that would involve someone you may know professionally or personally, but how would you maintain confidentiality while promoting transparency and public trust?
Well, you've got to, so much of my life is confidential. When we're dealing with DCS students, we can't broadcast that. So we keep everything to ourselves, and our teachers are instructed to do the same thing. We can't talk about things that might be fodder for news people on the street or something. So I think it's keeping it confidential, following the rules of the Ethics Committee, following any commission rules that we come across.
All right,
Does that
thank you.
answer?
Yes, thank you very much.
Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Congratulations on 37 years. That's quite an accomplishment.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done. So same question, sir. What guiding principles shape your decision in complex or sensitive situations?
Well, I could say everything that people have said before me because it all goes kind of hand in hand. But when I was sitting waiting, I thought, you know, it comes down to, and I'm going to steal a line from Joe Friday. I know a lot of you remember Sergeant Joe Friday, and look at it and say, just the facts, ma'am. Let's look at the facts. We're going to look at the facts. None of the comments and things that come in from who knows where they might come in from, but look at the facts of the case. Make a decision. Discuss it, make a decision. Thank you.
Sir. Perfect. Happy anniversary. That is a big accomplishment. I'm right behind you. And thank you for teaching our kids how to drive safe on our road. We need that. What are your expectations from this board, and what do you feel like you bring to it?
I want help from all of you. As much as you can help us, all of the candidates, I think, would look forward to getting some input, if that's allowed and permissible by the rules. I would like some guidance on that. And what I'll bring is hard work. I've worked hard all my life. And I think 10 years from now is about retirement time. My next birthday starts with a 7, so I'm thinking I'm going to retire before I hit that 80th birthday, which is looming large 10 years in advance. But I'll work hard and just try to bring a sense of ethical behavior to everything.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Bye-bye.
All right. Next is Mr. Joey Ruffalo.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you again for the opportunity to be here. We have, again, outstanding candidates. I'm impressed. Thank you, guys. Yeah, so my name is Joey Ruffalo. I'm here for the 3rd time to apply for Ethics Committee. I just want to be a little honest with everybody. I know I already have 2 strikes against me. I wasn't born here, and I didn't go to UT, so take it easy on me. But I already know I'm stepping to the plate with that behind me here. But, you know, baseball teaches you something important, and that is when you have 2 strikes, you don't step away. You stay patient, and you work the count, and you step up for the next pitch. And that's why I'm here. Like I said, it's my 3rd time, and I wrote a joke here, and I don't even know if I should say it, but I will. I'm not trying to set the record for the most applications, I promise. Okay, that didn't go over well. But sometimes persistence is part of the process, and that's why I'm fully committed to being here and to contribute. For me, ethical leadership isn't about a title. It's about the simple guiding principle I try to follow every day through Rotary, which is service above self. That idea shapes how I lead, how I work, and how I show up for the community. Professionally, I'm a financial coach and an author and a radio host. And my work is built on helping people make clear, values-based decisions. And that means dealing with sensitive information, maintaining confidentiality, and resolving conflicts, and putting fairness first. Qualities that align directly with the responsibilities of this committee. I also remain active in several community and civic roles here in Farragut and Knox County. I won't go into detail too much. You had my resume there and talked about it last time. But those experiences have strengthened my belief that transparency, fairness, and accountability are the bedrock of public trust. Across all of that, the question I come back to is, again, one rooted in the Rotary 4-way test is it fair to all concerned? Fairness is at the heart of an ethical decision-making, and fairness is what this committee exists to uphold. In my professional life, I've been honored to earn the trust of the community, including multiple Knoxville Community Vote Award winning in financial advising and professional coaching. And I take that trust seriously, and I see service on this committee as another opportunity to honor that. So again, why am I here again? because I believe this committee plays a vital role in protecting the integrity of our local government, because I believe public service should be guided in fairness and accountability, and because when you have a heart for something, you just keep showing up, even if the count isn't always in your favor. So thank you again for the time and consideration. Honored to bring my experience, my values, and my commitment to fairness to the committee.
Thank you.
Oh, and I welcome questions, because last time I suggested questions, and now we got questions.
Now you've got them. Commissioner Durrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Ms. Ruffalo, for once again applying to be on the Ethics Board. You did mention confidentiality,
Yeah.
and as I've asked everyone else, how do you maintain confidentiality while also promoting transparency and public trust?
Yeah, that's a good question, because sometimes you try to have one with, without the other. And I think the transparency and public trust part is, transparency is showing the work, and trust is how we do the work. And the confidentiality has to occur inside the meeting. So you can show the work and explain how it's done without divulging confidential information. And I think that's going to be important to maintain inside the parameters of the meeting schedules and how that works.
All right, thank you. And to my other question, how would you ensure fairness and neutrality when receiving or reviewing a complaint involving individuals you may know professionally or personally?
Yeah, another great question, because I know a bunch of you up here. It's about disclosing that information, I think, up front, and what the nature of the complaint is, but always disclosing it. So if it's, for example, something comes that gets you, I would say, hey, we've had a conversation before, I know you a little bit. What's the parameters? And seek guidance from those above me, either on the committee or through the legal aspects here that the commission provides, to see whether it's something I need to step back from or something I'm good to go with. And I'm happy to make it either way. They tell me, I'm fine either way.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Ruffalo, you touched on it a little bit about your guiding principles.
Yes, ma'am.
Giving you an opportunity to expand on that, guiding principles that shape your decisions in complex or sensitive situations.
Yeah, it's about integrity without compromise for me. It's something my dad taught me. Service without recognition. It's something that he did through his entire life. Again, never seeking out recognition, but obviously sometimes he'd get it, but never seeking it out, but just serving without recognition. I think that's something that I strive to continue today, which is why there's just this quiet leadership, this quiet commitment to community and stuff, but finding an opportunity to maybe have a larger voice is why I'm seeking out and being here. But again, like I said, service through integrity and compromise. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And last question, what are your expectations from this board, and what do you feel like you bring to it?
Well, I think the expectations for the board itself from the Ethics Committee is just to be able to uphold ethical standards. And if there's a way that I'm seeing that it's not upholding that, then I'm going to speak up and say, this, what we're not doing is right. As far as expectations for me, I'd love to be able to find out what that is. I know it's to be fair and transparent and guide the, through the complaints and stuff, but having some guidance from the committee as far as what my role needs to be is important as well, because it needs to be clearly defined of what my role is on all of this as well. So I think that's what it is. My expectation is to make sure that the committee is fair and we go through the process complete and with transparency and confidentiality as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And our last applicant is Daniel Vasquez.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Daniel Vasquez. Thank you for the directions earlier. So I'm new to Knoxville. I moved here recently from Seattle, Washington. I'm originally from Miami, Florida. Like Jimmy Carter, I'm an attorney. And in that way, I thought when I saw this, I applied on a whim, actually. I had picked up a newspaper at Weigel's, and I was just looking through it, saw that there was a notice. And I moved here last year, and I thought that this would be an interesting way to engage with my community. Ever since I got here, I've been trying to find a way to engage, get to know people. And I guess in that sense, it's been completely by whim. However, I do think that the more I thought about it, I thought about how my experience as an attorney might actually be beneficial in this capacity. And so, that's ultimately what kind of led me to pursue this.
Perfect. Commissioner Durant?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Vasquez, for being here. So how would you, and I know being attorney, you are very well-versed on the client confidentiality. So with that said, how do you promote transparency and public trust while remaining that confidentiality?
I'm going to answer it sort of anecdotally, but it's not just attorneys that have confidentiality, but there's also priest, parishioner, doctor, patient, psychologist, patient, et cetera. And the two are not necessarily exclusive of each other. You can maintain confidentiality while still being forthcoming with information and presenting transparency. For instance, we have faith in our religious institutions. We have faith in our medical institutions. For that reason, we have HIPAA laws, which are extremely confidential. However, we don't necessarily have a distrust of medical professionals because they can still be forthcoming in other aspects.
All right, thank you. And my other question, how would you ensure fairness and neutrality when reviewing a complaint involving individuals you may know professionally or personally?
I think being new here puts me at a bit of an advantage because I'm entirely disinterested in outcomes of anyone involved here. I don't know anybody and nobody knows me. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, it would just be fulfilling my obligations. I have zero interest in outcomes involving individuals. And again, I don't know anybody here.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks again for your willingness to serve. And same question as you've heard before. What guiding principles shape your decisions in complex or sensitive situations?
Guiding principles, for one, my dad, both my parents were born in Cuba. They moved to the United States in the 80s. They left through a mass exodus. They were born in a communist country. When my dad got here, one of the things that he lauded a lot and was very grateful for was the legal institutions that we have, the respect for our bureaucracy and institutions, and for the rule of law. And so that's one of my guiding principles, not just my father's perspective on things, my late father that is, but also, having gone through law school, I had a mentor, late Gary Neal Kravitz, who was big on ethics. I had actually won an award for ethics in law school. I don't know if it's on my resume, but he was someone who saw a lot of potential in me. I don't know if that fully answers your question, but I would say that those two people are highly influential. And then, there's just, of course, the rule of law and following codes of ethics and codes of laws.
Thank you.
Thank you. And what are your expectations from this board and what do you feel like you bring to it?
Truthfully, I don't know what my expectations would be. In a way, I almost feel a little unprepared because I didn't know what to expect. But in terms of what I think I can bring to it is my somewhat limited experience as an attorney. I'm not as experienced as Jimmy Carter. I have about 6 years as an attorney. But I do, I've gotten no complaints from anyone that I've worked with for opposing counsel, and I've actually made friends out of opposing counsel before. So I like to think that, I work with diligence and respect, and so I hope to bring that.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, to the applicants for the Ethics Board, thank you all for applying. All of you have great resumes, and I think that we've got a hard job ahead of us to do that. Next week at 5 o'clock, we'll be in here to take the vote. If you cannot be here, that is okay. I don't want to feel like you've got to be here, but if you want to be here, that would be great. And thank you all for applying and coming to speak before us. All right, Commission, if we want to go over anything for the agenda review for next Monday. Commissioner Fox.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe that I'm going to be seeking to pass the particular item dealing with data centers to January, only because I don't think I can get the text ready for voting in time for you all to have an adequate review of that. So I am going to be moving to push that down a month. By the grace of the Law Director's Office, I do, however, have an item to offer with regard to covenants and subdivisions and so forth, and that's been made available already. So I do intend on proceeding with that. Thank you.
right. Commissioner Jackson.
Yes, I mean, I don't want to do this week and then have to ask all these questions again. Do you mind, Madam Chair, is it a good time to just ask
It's a perfect
Mr.
time.
Fox on these? So please educate me a little bit. I don't really have a question about it, but, you know, does Tennessee law allow subdivisions to prohibit U.S. citizens from owning land?
The state has a fairly comprehensive law that deals with whether foreign nation, or I guess citizens of foreign nations can own property in Tennessee, okay? And I think they have, I haven't looked at the statute in the past couple weeks, so there are some, like, adversary or hostile nations for whom their citizens have been excluded from owning land, as I recall, okay? Before 2024, there was nothing, and the state law that was adopted was in response to the situation in Loudoun County, which I touched on before, but there was a development group that purchased, or a development company that purchased Walton, Tennessee LLC, purchased 400 acres in Loudoun County, and they were marketing it exclusively to people from the Far East, particularly China. And one of the covenants that runs with the land prohibited U.S. citizens from owning a lot in this subdivision. And so the state did take action with that to address that particular situation. However, I felt like there was still a gap that could be addressed by county commission, and that has been addressed by the language that's appearing in the proposed ordinance. So does that answer your question?
Well, what's the gap?
Well, I felt like there was nothing that specifically said you cannot have a subdivision in Knox County that has, or any land that has covenants that run with the land that prohibit an American citizen from owning, or maybe just, an American citizen from owning a lot in that particular subdivision. The state law covers purchases of land made by people from hostile nations, but I don't think there was anything specifically in there that addressed covenants that run with the land in subdivisions that would be approved by Knox County. And so, I talked with Mr. Moyers, and Law Director's Office, Ms. Rosberg, drafted the language that you see in response to what I was articulating.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with this ordinance at all. It's just interesting, and I'm just wondering if it's redundant of state law, or if it actually fills a hole that, yeah.
I don't think it's redundant, but Mr. Moyers can maybe speak to that.
It's not. The state has fairly recently prohibited real property ownership by certain classes of people, generally people who are associated with terrorist organizations or citizens of hostile foreign nations. I'd have to look to find the definition of that, but there's nothing in there that talks about a prohibition on discriminating against U.S. citizens in the sale of land. And so what the ordinance seeks to do is say that if anybody is so affected, they can bring it to the Law Director's Office. The Law Director's Office, if it finds that the discrimination or the prohibition on ownership is exclusively because the person is a U.S. citizen, then we can seek to take it to court to ask that covenant restriction be removed. The ordinance declares it to be against public policy to have that sort of discriminatory covenant. There are other covenants that go way back in law that have been ruled by the courts to be unenforceable because they are against public policy. So that's what this would do. Worst case scenario, we go to court and the court would refuse to do that. But I think there's nothing in state law like it. It probably would take a fairly unique set of circumstances for this to be invoked. But we have seen something like it in Loudoun County, just next door. And so Commissioner Fox's goal, I think, is to make sure that we don't have a situation where you could tell an American citizen, you cannot buy a house in our subdivision because you're an American.
Commissioner Durant?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Moyers, you state that, and it's Part C of Section 2, and you just stated that we would go to court if the law department did find there was some kind of violation. Is that on, who represents this person in court? I mean, is that a law director's office?
The thing about it is, if this ordinance passes, we are declaring it to be basically against public policy to have one of these. Now, an individual could certainly take it to court and say it violates the county ordinance, but it also puts it in our hands to once, if we have determined that that's the case, that we would go to court, to have that removed, because again, this commission would be declaring that we don't want that. That's basically, it'd be almost like a zoning violation. And while you could certainly say that not everybody in Knox County is affected by a zoning violation in a particular neighborhood, we still go to court to enforce our zoning code.
Right.
So if this were to pass, it would be something like that. We'd be asking the court to declare that covenant, that discriminatory covenant, is invalid as against public policy.
Okay. So would a person, let's say it was me and I didn't want to come to you, I just wanted to go straight to court. Could I still do that? Or would I have to go to you for your
I think you could
decision?
certainly go to a judge and say, this covenant violates Knox County ordinances, and ask the judge independently to rule it as to be invalid.
Should we include that as an option?
Well, I think anybody who's wronged in the market has the option to go to court. I don't know that we need to say it.
Okay.
If you wanted to add that, you could, but I think it's kind of surplusage to do.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that that was still an option, as opposed to having to come to you or the law director's office and doing all that. If they wanted to go straight to court, they could still go straight to court.
It would be just like if a homeowner felt like he was being discriminated against on the basis of some federal housing statute or state housing statute. You could go through the government to try to enforce it, or you could go do it yourself. So
And just to be on record, this does not violate anything with the Fair Housing Act.
I cannot imagine how an ordinance against that prohibits discriminating against American citizens could violate the Fair Housing Act or any other federal law.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. And Commissioner Fox, thank you for this. I'm happy to support it. All right, Commissioner Hill.
Just one more follow-up. I read the Commissioner Fox, the Chattanooga Times. I read all that, and the difference I'm asking, the difference between what our state has passed and what you're proposing is the difference between residential and other types of property sales. I'm just a little confused, because when I saw that the 2023 law, I thought, well, that took care of it, and if it doesn't, we certainly want to. So, what are you adding to the law that the state passed in 2023?
Yes, thank you. The state prohibits certain people from certain countries from purchasing land outright. But there could be somebody from a country that's not listed in that particular statute who could purchase land in Knox County the way that
Shell Corporation or something.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Like if you look at what happened in Loudoun County, you just had this development company that bought land And then they proceeded to, and this is residential, by the way.
Right.
I don't think we have, although if you look at the ordinance, I believe that this would address any type of land, not just land that's zoned as residential. But where it was originally contemplated came from this development attempt by Walden,
Right.
Tennessee LLC, to restrict American citizens from owning land.
Correct.
And so, as Mr. Moyer said, I still don't think there's anything within state law that directly addresses covenants that run with the land that would prohibit a U.S. citizen from owning a parcel of land within Knox County. And so we're just closing up that gap. Of course, I would encourage any other county commission to take up the same thing, or maybe the state could address it if they wanted to, but I think they just thought, well, we're just going to keep certain foreigners from buying land in Tennessee, but they didn't address it from this angle. Yeah.
So your ordinance, and I can't pull up right this second. I just don't want to be redundant is all. And so tell me what yours says that the one of 2023, the state law doesn't say. Tell me what it adds.
It adds it prohibits a covenant that runs with the land from being placed onto real property that would prevent a Knox or a U.S. citizen from owning a piece of land. Like this is kind of real estate lawyer nerd stuff, but covenants. One of the things you just learn in law school, and realtors often know it as well, is that you can create a covenant that runs with the land, and what that means is the next owner will take it with that restriction.
I got it.
Yeah.
So that I thought I thought that the law of 2023 basically said that a covenant that says that would be void. It doesn't?
No,
What does it say
it's
then?
The Tennessee law is actually discriminatory in a way, because it's saying that certain classes of people cannot purchase real property in Tennessee. This ordinance is anti-discriminatory, because basically it takes the possibility of discriminating against American citizens and prohibits them. So to answer Commissioner Durrett's question, it's probably more likely a violation of the Fair Housing Act to allow people to discriminate against United States citizens. So I would basically describe this as an anti-discrimination statute where the state statute is discriminatory. You may or may not agree with the reasons for the discriminatory, but that's what it is.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is the discussion closed on that item before I go to another? Just respectfully. Okay, thank you. Just wanted to bring your attention to agenda item number 23. This came out of our last Rules Committee meeting, and this just allowed us to amend the language so that it aligns with the electronic voting process. We wanted to amend the language that supports our current method of voting. So you will see that that language has been clarified under Rule 1, Board of Commissioners, Section J, motions. We have amended requiring a roll call. That is no longer necessary. You will see under Section K, voting procedures, that the following rules govern all voting conducted by the commission when using the electronic voting system in real time, and so that it shall display the vote of each commissioner as votes are cast. That is what we currently do. That is what we are amending the language and commission rules to reflect. So you will see that. Also under Rule 3, County Clerk, Section B, roll call vote. Again, we just amended that language so that it aligns with the previous language as amended under Section J. So that is what you have before you as our recommendation from the Rules Committee.
Thank you. Commissioner Durrett?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just to add on to what Commissioner Frazier said. One thing that we will do, or that will also be included in the rules, which we haven't really experienced due to the nature of our voice voting and roll call voting, is the chair will indicate a length of time for the vote to be open. And it will be a reasonable amount of time. It won't be 2 seconds and it won't be 5 minutes. Just to continue with efficiency of our meetings. Also, according to, I did so much research in Robert's rules and from my previous job with the Senate Clerk's office. We actually need to use the word abstain. Passing is just, and from going forward into January, once this is implemented, because a pass is not an option, it's technically an abstention. A pass, according to Robert's rules, and this is a note that's included in the red line portion, to pass means a member just wishes to defer casting a vote until later in a roll call. So since we are no longer, quote, calling roll, we don't really pass. We have the time frame for the vote to be open, and that is our time to be wishy-washy with our votes, say yes and no and whatever, but once the clerk closes the vote, or once the chair calls for the vote to be closed, then your vote will be cast, but it will show in real time what your vote is.
Thank you.
And happy to answer any other questions. And that's also why roll call, Section B under Rule 3 was amended, since we are no longer, quote, calling roll.
Thank you.
And now this, and I do also want to mention, for now, we will use our original rules for any kind of appointment like we did, since we do not have the ability to put names as the voting option, unless there are just two. We can assign colors, but we can approach that when we get there.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And I will get with Zach Webb, and we will get us another practice time. So I'll finish that up. If you will look on number 30, there's no contract attached right now. It will be there. So Drew just wanted me to point that out to you guys. Do we have anything else? Commissioner Jackson?
Yes, I have a quick question for Ms. Candler. This is in regard to, on the general consent, number 21.
Stephanie Candler, Senior Director of HR and Benefits, Knox County.
Thank you, Ms. Candler. So it's on the general consent, and it's just a big number, about $650,000. That's payable to HCC Life Insurance Company. Is that how much it costs us to provide health insurance, or is that, can you explain what that stop-loss coverage is?
Yes, so stop-loss coverage is considered reinsurance. We are self-employed or self-funded for the medical plan. So this insurance pays us back for any claims over $450,000. So we basically, once a person hits that threshold, we have a small window of another aggregating specific amount, and then anything over that. So if we have somebody that has $1 million claim, we're only paying a smaller portion of that. So in a $30 million health plan, the typical rate for a group our size is around this. And it's actually, we do this every year. We recontract stop loss each year to get competitive rates. And we've been very lucky over the last 4 years to actually have a reduction in rates because we had really good claims history. So we've saved $119,749 over the last 4 years just from competitive bids and recontracting every year. That's one that's based off of your current experience. And so ours went up about $200,000 this past time because we have had several large medical claims hit the plan in the last couple of years. And it's just things that you can't help, like transplants, preemie babies, cancer, that type of thing.
Sure. So have we ever looked into, as a county, having a captive insurance company and doing a risk stacking strategy where, we fund our captive for the first several hundred thousand, and then and then an insurance company covers the remainder?
I'd have to look back. I'm not sure. I haven't really been involved in that particular part. Our broker consultant handles the negotiations for these bids, but we can look at it for sure.
It's just something
It'd be worth,
interesting.
yeah.
So,
Thank you, Ms. Candler. All right, do we have anything else? All right, this meeting is adjourned, and see you back at 5 o'clock.